Your business partner stopped returning your calls. Your top employee is bad-mouthing you behind your back, and somehow it always gets back to you. Your client keeps changing the terms after you've already delivered. And you're lying awake at 2 in the morning, replaying the same conversation over and over, giving yourself a headache over a person who probably isn't losing a single minute of sleep over you. If you're here right now, if you clicked on this because there's someone in your life, in your business, controlling your peace of mind, stop scrolling. This is the video you needed. Today we're talking about how the Stoics dealt with difficult people, and I'm giving you 9 lessons every entrepreneur needs when it comes to Stoic dealing with difficult people entrepreneur situations. The investor who talks down to you. The partner who undermines you. The employee who tests you at every turn. But first, a warning. This video isn't going to comfort you. It's not going to tell you what you want to hear. It's going to tell you what you need to hear. And if you stay until the end, the way you feel about that one person in your head right now is going to change permanently. Let's get into it. Lesson 1. You cannot control them. That sentence sounds simple, but most people spend years of their life fighting against this one fact. You cannot make your business partner honest. You cannot make your employee loyal. You cannot make your client fair. That's on them, not on you. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, commanding armies, holding a level of power no CEO today could even imagine, understood one thing clearly: the only territory he actually governed was his own mind, his own reactions. The man who could command an empire could not command his enemies to stop being his enemies. So if he didn't have that power, what makes you think you do? Here's where the real damage happens. Every time you try to change a difficult person, you hand them your energy, your time, your peace. You're giving them permission to run your day. And the person who was already frustrating you now lives rent-free inside your head, in your thoughts, in your sleep. The Stoic approach is brutally simple. Control your response, nothing else. Their behavior belongs to them. Your reaction belongs to you. The day you actually absorb that, difficult people stop having the same grip on you they used to. Lesson 2. Difficult people are your training ground, whether you like it or not. Seneca, a Roman statesman who lived through exile, betrayal, and enemies at the highest level of power, wrote that fire tests gold and adversity tests strong men. Now think about that as an entrepreneur. If business were easy, if everyone played fair, if no one ever worked against you, you would never build any real strength. That tough investor grilling you in a meeting, that negotiation where the other side pulls every trick in the book, that employee who challenges your authority in front of the team, all of it is preparing you for a level you haven't reached yet. Most people run from difficult people. They avoid them. They cut them off the second things get uncomfortable. They remove them from their life as fast as possible. And I'm not telling you to keep toxic people around out of some misguided sense of loyalty. That's not what this is about. What I'm telling you is this: every difficult interaction you survive without losing your composure is a rep. It's a rep for the version of you that runs a company, closes the big deal, sits across from someone trying to intimidate you and doesn't flinch. You don't build that version of yourself in comfort. You build it in friction. Lesson 3. Most of your suffering isn't coming from them. It's coming from your judgment of them. This is one of the hardest Stoic ideas to actually accept, because it feels like you're letting the other person off the hook. You're not. Epictetus, who was born into slavery and became one of history's greatest philosophers, taught that people are disturbed not by events, but by the opinions they hold about those events. Translate that into your business life. It's not the rude email that ruins your afternoon. It's the 3 hours you spend replaying it, building a case in your head, imagining what you should have said back. That difficult partner, that difficult client, that difficult hire, the actual interaction with them might last 5 minutes, but your mind stretches it into hours. Days, sometimes. You relive it in the shower, in the car, right before you fall asleep. And here's the uncomfortable truth. They're not doing that to you. You're doing that to yourself. The event happened once. The suffering you're manufacturing on repeat. Once you see that clearly, you realize you've been handing out free rent in your own head to people who never even paid the deposit. Type this in the comments right now if this is landing. My peace is not negotiable. Because that's exactly what we're rebuilding here. Not indifference, not coldness, but a founder's mind that difficult people cannot rattle. And we're just getting started. There are 6 more lessons coming, and lesson 4 is about to change how you see every argument you've ever lost sleep over. Lesson 4. Winning the argument is not the same as winning. There's a trap almost every entrepreneur falls into at some point. You're in a meeting, or a text thread, or a heated call, and someone says something unfair, something wrong, something that makes your blood pressure spike. Every instinct in your body wants to correct them. Right there, right then, you want to prove them wrong, lay out every fact, win the exchange in front of whoever's watching. Marcus Aurelius wrote something that should be carved into the wall of every founder's office. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. He wasn't talking about avoiding conflict. He was talking about a much sharper distinction, the difference between defending your ego and protecting your mission. Every minute you spend proving a difficult person wrong is a minute you're not spending building. And the person who baited you into that argument, they usually don't even remember it a week later. You do. You carry it. You replay your comeback lines in the shower 3 days after the fact, still fighting a battle that's already over. Here's what separates founders who last from founders who burn out on other people's drama. The ones who last understand that not every argument deserves their energy. Not every unfair comment needs a rebuttal. Not every jab requires a response. You can let someone be wrong about you. You can let someone walk away thinking they got the last word. It costs you nothing except your pride, and pride was never paying your bills anyway. The next time someone tries to pull you into a pointless argument, ask yourself one question before you open your mouth. Will responding to this move my business forward, or is it just going to make me feel briefly better while costing me an hour of peace? Most of the time, you already know the answer. Lesson 5. Some people are testing you, not attacking you. This one changes how you read almost every difficult interaction once you actually understand it. When a client pushes back hard on your pricing, when an employee questions a decision in front of the team, when a partner challenges your judgment, your nervous system reads it as an attack. Fight or flight kicks in immediately. But a huge percentage of the time, what's actually happening is a test. Consciously or not, people are checking to see if you'll hold your ground, if your word means something, if you actually believe in what you're building, or if you'll crumble the second someone pushes back. Think about the entrepreneurs you respect the most, the ones who command a room the second they walk in. It's rarely because they're the loudest person there. It's because there's a stillness to them. When someone challenges them, they don't flinch, they don't get defensive, they don't raise their voice to match the other person's energy. They respond from a place that says, I already know who I am. Your pressure doesn't change that. Epictetus taught his students that circumstances don't build a man's character, they reveal it. The difficult client isn't creating a weakness in you that wasn't there before. They're just shining a light on what was already sitting under the surface. So the next time you feel tested, a tough negotiation, a challenge to your authority, someone trying to get a reaction out of you, remember that how you handle that exact moment is often more important than the outcome of the conversation itself. People remember composure. People remember the founder who stayed calm when everything around them was chaotic. That memory becomes reputation, and reputation becomes leverage you carry into every future negotiation, whether that specific difficult person is in the room or not. Lesson 6. Detach the person from the behavior. This is one of the most practical shifts you can make starting today, and it comes straight from Stoic teaching on judgment. When someone acts difficult, our brain does something automatic. It collapses the behavior into an identity. He's a liar. She's toxic. He's impossible to work with. Once you've made that leap, you're no longer responding to a specific action. You're responding to a label you created in your own head, and that label follows you into every future interaction with that person, coloring everything through a lens of resentment before they've even said a word. The Stoics practiced something closer to this. Separate the act from the actor. Someone missed a deadline, that's a fact you can address directly. Someone spoke over you in a meeting, that's a behavior you can name and set a boundary around. But the moment you turn it into "this person is just bad," you've stopped solving a problem and started carrying a grudge. Grudges are heavy. They don't hurt the person you're carrying them about. They hurt you. Every single day you keep hauling them around. This doesn't mean you excuse bad behavior or pretend it didn't happen. It means you deal with the specific thing that happened, set your boundary, take your action, and then let it go, instead of building an entire narrative around who that person supposedly is deep down. Founders who master this stay clear-headed in negotiations, in hiring, in partnerships, because they're responding to reality instead of responding to the story they've built up in their own mind about someone. Write this down somewhere, you'll actually see it again. I respond to actions, not to labels. Because that single shift is what keeps a difficult relationship from turning into a permanent weight you drag through every deal you make afterward. We've covered 6 lessons now, and the next 3 are where this whole thing comes together, where Stoic dealing with difficult people entrepreneur wisdom stops being philosophy and starts being your actual daily operating system. Lesson 7. Silence is a decision, not a weakness. Most people think that if they don't respond immediately, they've lost. Someone sends an aggressive email, and within minutes there's a reply, typed fast, emotions still hot on the page. Someone challenges you in a meeting, and you feel this urgent need to answer, right there, on the spot, before you've even had a second to think. Marcus Aurelius wrote that it takes strength to hold your tongue when someone offends you, more strength than most people ever build. Silence, real silence, the kind that's chosen rather than forced, is one of the most underused tools in business. When you don't respond instantly, you're not weak. You're not avoiding the issue. You're giving yourself the one thing a heated moment tries to steal from you, the ability to think clearly before you speak. The difficult client sending you an aggressive message at 10 at night is hoping for a reaction. Silence until morning, followed by a calm, measured response, tells them something they didn't expect. You're not running on their timeline. You're running on your own. There's another layer to this too. Silence unsettles people who are used to provoking a reaction. When you stop giving them the immediate emotional response they're fishing for, the whole dynamic shifts. They either escalate, which shows everyone watching exactly who they are, or they back down, because the fight only works if you show up to it. Either way, you win simply by not needing to prove anything in that exact moment. Practice this the next time you feel that hot, urgent need to fire back. Wait, not out of fear, out of choice. Let your response come from clarity, not from adrenaline. Lesson 8. Protect your standards, not your ego. There's a difference between these two that most entrepreneurs never learn to separate, and it costs them years of unnecessary conflict. Ego says, I need to be right. I need the last word. I need this person to admit I was correct. Standards say, this is how I operate. This is what I will and won't accept. And that stays true whether or not anyone else agrees with it. Seneca lived through betrayal from people at the highest levels of Roman power, and what carried him through wasn't proving each of them wrong. It was staying anchored to his own principles regardless of how anyone around him behaved. When a difficult partner tries to renegotiate terms after the fact, when a client tries to guilt you into working for less than you're worth, when an employee tests a boundary just to see if it actually holds, that's not the moment to defend your pride, it's the moment to defend your standard. There's a real difference in how those two things feel and how they land. Defending your ego sounds like arguing, convincing, trying to make someone see it your way. Defending a standard sounds calm. This is the rate, this is the deadline, this is how we operate here, and it's simply not up for debate. No heat behind it, no need for the other person to agree, just a clear line that doesn't move, regardless of the pressure applied against it. Founders who build lasting companies are rarely the ones who won every argument. They're the ones whose standards never bent, depending on who was pushing back that day. People eventually stop testing a boundary once they learn, through direct experience, that it never moves. That's not stubbornness. That's what the Stoics would call integrity, doing the same thing whether you're being watched or not, whether you're being challenged or not. Lesson 9. The goal was never to eliminate difficult people. It was to become someone they can't shake. This is the lesson that ties every single one before it together. And it's the one most people miss completely when they first start applying Stoic thinking to their business. You will never build a company, a team, or a life entirely free of difficult people. That fantasy doesn't exist at any level of success. In fact, the more you grow, the higher the stakes get, the more difficult people you'll encounter, not fewer. Bigger deals bring tougher negotiators. More visibility brings more critics. Success itself invites more friction, not less. So the real goal was never about escaping difficult people. It was about becoming someone whose peace, whose decisions, whose sense of self doesn't depend on how any of those people behave. Marcus Aurelius ruled during plagues, wars, and betrayals from people inside his own inner circle, and he still wrote, day after day, about staying grounded in his own principles regardless of what was happening around him. That's the actual target. Not a conflict-free life, an unshakable one. Every difficult person you've dealt with, everyone you're dealing with right now, everyone still waiting for you down the road, they're not obstacles standing between you and the entrepreneur you're trying to become. In a strange way, they're part of how you get there. Every time you stay calm when they wanted a reaction, every time you protect your standard instead of your ego, every time you let silence do the work instead of your temper, you're building the exact composure that separates founders who last from founders who flame out chasing every fight put in front of them. That's what Stoic dealing with difficult people entrepreneur wisdom actually gives you in the end, not a shortcut around hard people, but the strength to walk through them without losing yourself. If this video gave you something today, if even one of these 9 lessons is going to change how you handle that difficult person in your life, hit like on this video. Drop a comment telling me which lesson hit you the hardest, and subscribe to Stoic Founder so you don't miss what's coming next week. We go deep into this every single time, and I read every comment. I'll see you in the next one.